Croeso all, and welcome to the latest edition of the Fearless in Devotion podcast, the podcast brought to you by the Fat Boar Bar and Restaurant, our lovely sponsors. You join us after Wrexham's first home league win of the season. Can you believe that? 11 games in, and we have finally won a home game after a 1-0 victory over Oxford United, courtesy of a single first half goal from Nathan Broadhead. Tim, it wasn't all as easy as it could have been, though, was it?
No, it's a bit of a weird one because I felt like we had loads of control of that game, and then obviously the Doyle sending off. I can understand why he's sent him off. I can also understand why Parky thinks he shouldn't have been sent off, and then he proceeded to point to the fact that this guy was the same guy who ref the Southampton game the opening day and should have sent off one of their players. I think it was at Southampton or Leicester. I can't
Leicester, I
remember
think.
now. Yeah, but I, I I look back on it and I think, you know what? It didn't really feel like it was going to be in doubt. I just felt we were solid again, reverted back to that classic formation that Parky loves and trusts in. And I just thought we were good. I mean, it might reflect unkindly a little bit on Oxford as a level opposition. I think they were particularly poor, if I'm honest. I mean, I thought Sheffield Wednesday, for example, were a lot better than them as well. So but you can only beat what's in front of you, and especially coming off the back of a pretty poor display at Stoke. So made a lot of changes. It was justified, and they rewarded him, and it's given him a massive selection headache ahead of a busy 7 days, really.
Yeah, it was an odd one. Like when I saw the team sheet before the game, I don't know about you, but I saw that midfield trio of Dobson, Thomason, and
I'm the king of the bad takes, not you. And then you've
yeah,
had a
I
bad
know,
take.
and Matty James. And I put up, oh, good one. Show us what your real midfield is. I quite like tempting fate though, because I was saying
Yeah,
this to someone else, like more often than not, when you doubt Parky, a bit like I remember Coventry away in the FA Cup a couple of years back, he put out what looked like a weakened lineup, and we ended up going to beat Coventry. So never doubt Mr. Phil Parkinson. There's a good reason why he's paid money instead of me
yeah.
to manage
And,
this football club, I think.
and let's be honest, the players that did make up that midfield are not necessarily bad players.
No.
I just like the fact that I think Parky was quite I can't never say it
Yes, that's
magnanimous
the
in
one.
defeat at Stoke, and I think he kind of glossed over elements of it where I think he was probably deep down more unhappy than he was letting on, and then lo and behold he wields the axe. Some no choice 'cause I think Sheaf had a bit of a niggle and a few of the little bits and bobs were in that, but the players that have come in have not let him down in any way, shape, or form. So not bad. Thomason was starting to really see what the fuss was about with him at Bolton and why he was brought to the club. Dobson doing Dobson things like early solid contender for the player of the season already. Matty James just we're still almost like waiting for him to go. Oh well, he hasn't got the legs anymore. Sometimes you just don't need the legs if you've got plenty of legs around you, but you've got the know-how. Similar like Darren Ferguson as an example, we always look back to that. As long as your brain's still there and you've got people around you that can take that ball onwards and you're reading the game well, then it's a big plus.
Yeah, I think Matty James is probably my man of the match. It was I think it's one of those where when we've got the ball and we're in possession, he's really decent. But actually, saying that, when we were under the cosh towards the end, I thought he managed things really well from midfield
Yeah.
as well. And I also just like the fact that we've got a bit more balance with Kakache on the left hand side as well. It just seemed like you said, I didn't particularly feel at threatened at any point, other than maybe the first 10 minutes of the second half after they
Yeah.
switched things up a bit.
Yeah.
Gave us a few things to think about. Then weirdly, the red card sort of galvanized us. I don't know what your view of it, the incident was like from where you sit.
I mean, it was blood and thunder, wasn't it? And like, if you get it right, everybody's like, yeah, go on, love it. But I think you always judge a tackle usually on the general feeling of the reaction to a crowd. And it was more like a collective, oh, like an intake of breath, as in to say, he might not get away with this one, and so it proved. But There was a lot. It did galvanize because it was a case of, look, lads, let's batten down the hatches. No games are easy. We've gone over it time and again how games of the championship are usually decided by one goal, whether it's 3-2 or 1-0. So I love the fact they really dug deep, and there was one point where we were just chasing down everything, like lost causes, everything, and that was getting a big reaction. And then you had the classic "get into him, fuck him up" chant, which I'd not heard at that sort of level, volume wise, in a long time. It was great. Like, love a good old school chant like that, which sort of transcends time and still works to this day.
It was. We also had "Can't Help Falling in Love with You," which I hadn't heard for
Did
a little
we?
while. Yeah, at one point, I'm sure we did. I hadn't heard it
Wow.
in a good little while, so it's quite nice to hear that again. But I thought the crowd as a whole really helped carry the team over the line. I think it's probably important that we talk a bit about the broad head goal because I was sort of in line with that. And if I'd had to call that in real time, I don't. It didn't quite look over the line, but then as my friend pointed out, the ref had his watch on, so goal line tech was in use, and I think I've seen a screen grab of and it was well over.
Yeah.
Just a really strong finish from Broadhead, who I thought was absolutely class yesterday.
It's one of those things of football where you're delighted it's gone in, but there's nothing much crapper than an anticlimactical kind of celebration. That's why if we ever get to the promised land, or we have matches which are sort of decided upon, I can't fathom that having a delayed reaction and celebrating all over again. And when that goal went in, I was like, has it done what happened when we played Hull in the Carabao Cup, where we all thought Arthur had saved it, but it's hit that weird new stanchion, like the lower stanchion at the back of the goal, and bounced out. And even the Hull fans were like, "Oh right, we scored," and that was about 8 seconds after the ball had gone in. So, but you know what? Broadhead's good at that. He just peels off, gets in the right position, pokes it away. Doesn't try to be clever with it, doesn't leather it, just gets it on target. And if you get it on target, you've got every chance, haven't you? So that more Broadhead thing is working very nicely indeed.
Yeah, I think we were quite happy to see those two paired together. I also thought, like credit to Parky as well, that the changes as the match went on actually worked as well. He brought them on at the right players on at the right time and to help us see it out. Sam Smith could have had a hat trick the amount of chances he had at the end.
Yeah, I mean that move where they were pushing for the equaliser and thought, right, they're going to leave loads of gaps at the back. We need to. I think we need to maybe be a little bit better at that. You kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. Like, do you go for a second and seal it, or do you just manage the game carefully and see it out? But there was a couple of opportunities there which you thought, there's loads of space here. Let's just try and put it to bed. And that move, I think it was Max. Max almost did like an Owen O'Connell when he kind of flicked it over, chased it, put it in. It's laid off. I think Windass was it laid it off to Smith, and he's just hit it first time. Great save by the keeper. So their keeper was really good, to be fair. But yeah, overall, can't really be disappointed or disheartened. It was a deserved win, and to be fair, I always have a good look at fan reactions of the opposition after a game, whether they won or lost or whatever. And all the Oxford fans, to their credit, said, "Well, we can't have any complaints. We were rubbish." And they got better with 10 men and they had more chances with 10 men. So, I like a fan base that calls it how they see it, doesn't try to dress it up or, try and have a bit of shit banter or portray it in a different light. So, yeah, but so given their manager, I'm quite surprised. I thought they would be doing a little bit better. But yeah, they didn't really offer a great deal at all. We were lucky where they hit the bar, which
Yeah.
I think is from that free kick after the
Yeah.
Doyle sending off. But other than that, I can't really think of much else Arthur had to do.
No, no. I mean, I saw a couple of people having a pop at him for punching, but I thought in both cases, the amount of distance he got on the punches and the areas he put them in, you couldn't argue with
Oh
because it
yeah,
got it away from
yeah,
danger.
yeah. I think because of it's classic Wrexham, innit? I mean, we could be 4-0 up and people will still go, oh, no, we're not safe yet, we're not safe. So, we need to get this in the bag. But I think because it's sort of on a knife edge at 1-0, it's one of those. I don't think you can really. depending on where you are on the ground, and tech end, and we're seeing Arthur punch down the far end and saying, "Oh, should have caught that." It's a very different perspective when you're closer to the action or seeing it from an elevated position. He's a decent keeper. He knows what he's doing. He might have got the shout to punch. He might have shouted to punch. I'd be more concerned if he goes to punch and misses it and it
Yeah,
costs us. He's not missing them, is he? And it's
no,
not costing us. So people
carry
might
on.
say on this occasion, but you know, I don't want to sort of real sort of pick at the bones and trying to find fault where realistically there wasn't really a lot to grumble about.
Yeah, just a quick mention for Dom Hyam as well, who yet another player taking the captain's armband. Probably a captain's performance as well, wasn't it?
So good, so good, so good. I actually got confused with George Thomason this morning, much to some several people's delight.
He was.
I was
I saw someone comparing him to Tony Humes last night. Hyam.
I like that. I like that. Um, I like the fact he was given the captaincy, trusted with it. He's only been here, what, 50 odd days, kind of a late sign in the window. Not a big name in that respect, but you look at what he's achieved. I think he got promoted twice with Coventry. They love him there. They really, really rated him. Apparently, one of my commentary mates said, "Oh, they sold him essentially for a bag of peanuts." He's obviously very, very well liked to Blackburn as well. Um, so I think I like it when you get a defender or any player that just slots in. It feels like they've been at home there for ages. Just in about it. He goes about his business quietly, consistently, and Cody and Co have got a real struggle on their hands getting back into that side.
Yeah, no, too right. Going to be joined by our guests as we look ahead to the weekend's game against Middlesbrough in a second. But just before we do that, just a couple of bits to round up. Lincoln fans, well, I say Lincoln fans. Lincoln have been fined £8,500 after their fans sang "Fuck the Pope" and the IRA at James McLean during the last game of the season. Surprised that they're the only ones that have been fined, to be honest. I heard that chant a few times last season.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, talk about just making things worse themselves because we had a right party that day. All fancy dress, won the game. Um, surprised anybody could hear that. To be fair, because we were pretty noisy throughout. I mean, good, good. You know, I mean, I think there's a lot made this week. I think Robbie Savage came out and said he got loads of stick at the Carlisle Forest Green game, and there are boundaries. There should be boundaries, but those boundaries are often crossed and then dressed up as banter. That was part of the game, blah blah blah. But I think there is a line. There's always a line, isn't there?
Yeah,
And look, McLean's at it in droves, and I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't know how he has the mental fortitude to cope with the amount of shit he's had over the years. I think he's just got used to it, but he's developed a very, very thick skin where it's just uses it as fuel for his fire, really. So yeah, shame really for Lincoln, and it'll no doubt be a minority because when we were
yeah,
down there, really good fan base. And a team that have been there, they were in the championship. I'm sure they were under the Cowley brothers. Not
yeah,
feels not that long ago, So
yeah.
another classic case of never take anything for granted.
And just one more piece of news: Wrexham have appointed a new direct. Well, I think it's probably the first time, is it? We've had a director of women's football. Or did we have one previously? I can't recall.
I don't feel like we had, no.
No. So Mark Swales has joined from the FA. He's got a lot of experience in women's football, more than 20 years in elite football. Um, so was most recently the senior women's coach of development at the FA. So that'll be quite interesting to see how that develops because it feels like every time the club is adding, basically different bows to the women's team to take them higher. So good luck, Mark, and we wish him all the best. Right, we're now about to welcome our guest in. Here we go.
Here we are. Welcome to Dana Malt of the Boro Breakdown. See you again so soon. I was on yours, what, an hour ago, your pod? Glad to see
I
you back.
know,
You've got all
yeah,
sorts of
Tim.
you got some new backgrounds going on now. It's all happening.
I know, yeah. I've just spawned this. It wasn't there when you were speaking to me earlier.
Right,
But
there
yeah,
we are.
good to speak to you guys. And yeah, we've had a good season, so I'm looking forward to speaking about the Borough.
Thanks for joining us. So give us an idea why the flying start? How has this all come about? Because obviously you got a new manager in Rob Edwards. Um, give us a kind of overview of what's happened then through the summer in terms of him coming on board, who he's brought on board with him, how he's kind of trying to implement any philosophy he has in terms of playing the game.
Yeah, well, I think the very first thing that Rob Edwards did when he was announced as Middlesbrough manager, joined by Harry Watling and Adi Vivesh, who was at Coventry with Mark Robbins for quite a few seasons and enjoyed their ascent up the leagues, was actually tie the fans back to the football club because last season we had endured a lot, I would say. It was very frustrating. Every time that we give ourselves a bit of an opportunity to get back into the top six, or even were in the top six, we very quickly shot ourselves in the foot. It felt very much like Sideshow Bob hitting himself in the face with a rake several times over, supporting Middlesbrough last season. And there was a gradual decline or a gradual dip under Michael Carrick. We went from fourth to eighth to 10th. And I guess there was a bit of apathy that had joined the fan base, which is a very dangerous emotion for a football fan, I think. And so there was a pretty bad feeling going into the season, obviously, as well, seeing Sunderland get promoted, our North East rivals. That was particularly bad because Reggie Labrie, a new manager, and got them promoted. So then the question was pointed at Middlesbrough: what are you doing? What is this all about? Why haven't you been promoted? Why have you disappointed so many times this season? So he went really heavy on the PR, Rob Edwards. He tried to connect the fans back with the football club again, and I think he did that. He reached out to certain supporter groups. He met a supporter group in a local pub, and that was basically the start of, I guess, just reconnecting the fans back with Borough. And then obviously the start that we've had. I didn't expect it. I must admit, I did not expect it. I don't know what I expected, but it was not this. I think he just reverted us back to basics, to be honest. Under Michael Carrick, it was very, we'll try and outscore you and out attack you. With Rob Edwards, it's just building the foundations from the back, which I think is the sign of, at worst, sorry, a good, solid championship team at this level. So that's probably the thing that he's done, made us a lot more aggressive off the ball, or a lot less passive, I'd say. Maybe not so much aggressive, actually, but a lot less passive off the ball and just solid. We've conceded the least amount of goals in the championship this season. We defend our box really well. It's just going back to basics and then kicking on from there. And that's why we're currently second in the league, much to my surprise, anyways.
I mean, you asked me this on your pod before about what the expectation is of where Wrexham can be and where they can end up at the end of the season. And I think, Liam, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we're quite pragmatic, I think, in terms of where we think or hope
Yeah.
we're going to finish, regardless of the money spent. Um, is Are you trying to keep your feet on the ground, Dana? Or are you allowing yourself to get carried away? I know it's like, but we say that, but it's like a quarter of the season gone already.
Yeah, it's really difficult with Borough because if you ask any fan, they will have that niggling narrative in the back of their mind of, oh, typical Borough. They'll build you up and they'll let you down. And that's constantly overhanging any positive, just positivity that we have with the club, that surely this isn't going to continue. And we've just been ticking on and it has been continuing. So I think going into the season, honestly, I thought that we'd be mid-table. I really did. I didn't think that we'd do anything of note. Lots of change, new manager, so change in that regard, changing coaching staff, changing personnel in many aspects. And so I just kind of I looked at all of that and thought, okay, yeah, we'll probably maybe get mid-table and go from there. And yeah, the fact that we are where we are, I think signals the good job that Rob Edwards has done. And in turn, I think maybe our expectations have changed. Now we're 11 games into the season, we're still keeping pace with the top of the championship. I guess at this point, the question maybe turns to why can't we get into the top six this season? We've seen that it's very open. The parachute payment teams are all struggling. And I think that gives a big opportunity for the likes of ourselves, of Coventry, Stoke, Millwall, Bristol City, whoever else is occupying the top six, to push on and maybe get up there and stay up there. So yeah, in short, I think the expectation now is top six, but certainly going in at the season, it was a million miles away from that.
So in terms of what has there been a change in style of play or anything there? I mean, I wouldn't profess to know what Rob Edwards brought to the table before at Luton and so on and so forth. But obviously, he's made you hard to beat, took you back to basics. But is he using certain players to their advantages? What sort of style can we expect from Middlesbrough?
I do think you can expect a bit of a mixed style, actually. He's very adaptable, and I think that's one of the biggest differences from the Michael Carrick tenure to this one is that he's not afraid to make changes. He's made half-time changes 4 times this season, and he's made big calls as well. In the West Brom game, for example, David Strelitz scored on his home debut. He then took him off at half-time for Cali Sen, who then scored on his home debut. So a night of firsts that was that evening, a very good evening at the Riverside. I think the what he's done is he's made sure that Hayden Hackney stays as a vital part of the team. I did see in the first few games of the season maybe omitting the midfield slightly and trying to get the ball forward as quickly as possible, not necessarily by a long ball or long passes, but just trying to thread the ball through to the number 10s and maybe taking out Hayden Hackney and Aidan Morris in the middle of the pitch. But then we have gone back to using those two and very quickly switched to hang on. These guys are very fantastic, actually, in the middle of the park. Probably one of the most, I would say, maybe now the second best midfield two in the Championship behind Matt Grimes and Victor Torp of Coventry. And we're using them more. The wing back situation, it went from a back three to a back four now, but the wing back and full back situation, I'm not going to lie, I expected a little bit more in terms of creative output, but that's fine. We are more solid at the back. We're trying not to make the games as open as possible, which is maybe what Michael Carrick kind of, I don't want to say liked, but it kind of became a theme of Boro's games under Carrick that they became basketball matches. Rob Edwards doesn't want that. He wants that solid base, that good shape, hard to beat, and then let Hackney and the front three just try to stamp their authority and quality on the game. We haven't quite got that click up front yet, but all in all, there's been certain changes, mostly to do with off the ball and defending, that have really reaped the rewards so far this season.
You mentioned a couple of Borough players there. Who are the ones that you think Wrexham should be most wary of?
Definitely Hackney. Definitely Hackney. And actually, Morgan Whittaker, because he scored 2 in 2, and Whittaker is he's a player that needs to be confident, and I would assume that with 2 goals in as many games, he is confident. At Plymouth, he really utilised that to his advantage and just kept scoring and kept cutting inside, kept finding the top corner. We haven't seen that goal for us yet, but he's a very confident player. But going back to Hayden Hackney, he is just a fantastic talent. I don't think anybody of a Middlesbrough persuasion can quite believe that we've actually kept hold of him. There was only one bid that came in for him in the summer, and that was from Ipswich, and he turned that down. He's just a brilliant box-to-box midfielder, technical quality aplenty, good touch, good forward drive, good ball carrier. He's the one that really just makes Borough tick. And then whoever plays alongside him, be it Morris or Brown, they also complement him. And that, yeah, in regards to like attacking players, as I said, we haven't quite found the click yet. I think Conway's maybe been a little bit wasteful with the chances that he's got recently. David Strelitz isn't getting in the games as much, but has that technical quality. Just looks a class above in terms of his touches and his kind of selflessness. So maybe it's time for one of them to kind of strike well against Wrexham. But yeah, definitely it has to be Hayden Hackney. He is by far Boro's best player.
Your league position would probably tend to suggest that there's not too many weak points in your team. Are there any areas that you're worried about Wrexham exploiting at all?
Ooh, potentially could be balls over the top. I don't think that we've got the quickest back three, although I don't know. I do think that pace in a backline is potentially a little bit overrated or overstated in football chatter, because as long as you're in the right position, you can recover your lack of pace. I'm not really seeing a big weakness in us. It's very difficult to kind of pin one in particular. I mean, I'm saying long balls there, but we haven't really seen it being exploited. So I'm just kind of plucking that as something that could potentially be targeted, but we've just been very solid. And the funny thing is I'd have a plethora of answers for you if we were speaking last season, because we just had such a soft underbelly, but we've changed that completely. So admittedly, I'm struggling for an answer here. Maybe potentially if you block off Hayden and Aiden in midfield, or Hayden Hackney and Alan Brown, whoever it is, just try to nullify Boro building from that middle third. It could stop a lot of the goodness that we have, and might kind of make it a bit difficult for us.
We've done no Phil Parkinson no favors here with with identifying areas. No, that's fair enough. Obviously, Wrexham are starved of media attention, so you might not be aware of how we've been doing lately. But we're always interested to get people's perspectives on what you make of Wrexham's rise and position over the last few seasons.
Yeah, it's been fantastic, to be honest. I'm a lot more annoyed at the discussion around Birmingham, if I'm being honest, than Wrexham. I've got absolutely no problems with Wrexham whatsoever, based on, what the media's kind of put the focus on. I think what I look at, and I asked Tim about this on our show, is just how what it means to the fans. Like, honestly, if you go from the National League to the Championship in 3 seasons, I think so much about just the hardcore fan base that have been there in I don't want to say the doldrums, but, in the National League, and
Yeah.
just seeing that ascent. I just think that football's so immersive, and it's so captivating. And when you're a part of a journey, I really love that. That's what I love the most about football, just being taken on a journey. That's why I love tournament football so much. We haven't really seen it with Borough, like that journey, I suppose, in regards to going up the leagues, but we've certainly seen iterations of journeys within managers, I suppose, and building. And so I can appreciate from that standpoint just I don't know, how good that would feel as a Wrexham fan, just to go from the National League to League Two to League One to the Championship. I really applaud that.
Yeah, it's a weird one because you'd think going off social media we were one of the most hated clubs in the land, but often
Yeah.
you think when you just talk to normal football supporters, most people are actually quite happy. So no, it's just one we're always curious on. We always like to get a sense as well of, away days. Are there any places that Wrexham fans need to go during their visit?
And things they need to eat. And I know about this now.
Yes. Yes, I cannot believe Tim was so ill prepared on this. Parmos, everybody, parmos. Parmos are the local delicacy here. It's breaded chicken with bechamel sauce and cheese on top, and every Borough fan, even if they don't like parmos, will push the parmo narrative. If we bring in a player, one of the first questions that they want to ask is, "Have you had a parmo yet?" Same with Rob Edwards. "Have you had a parmo yet, Rob?" Definitely get yourselves to Central Park or Manjaro's if you want a parmo. I went to Central Park recently. They did a beautiful pulled pork parmo, and I would recommend that. But if you want the standard, just get the chicken, and you just don't have anything before this. You will be absolutely flat out after it. It'll take a lot out of you probably, so don't expect to have another meal after this. But yeah, would definitely recommend Central Park, Manjaro's. Get yourself there, get yourself a parmo.
Don't know about you, Tim, but I'm definitely sold on that.
Mate, I Googled it before, and I felt like I was slipping into a nice slumber, having just like looked at it as like, imagine just have that. You snooze all the way on the coach on the way home or the train, however you getting there, job done. It seems like it's a kind of like a northeast version of a schnitzel, something like that. Am I miles off it there? Am I doing it a disservice? I don't know. Maybe I am. But
Well,
I'll try it. I'm going to try it.
yeah, Middlesbrough people are proud of their Parmos. They probably would have put it on the new badge if they could. But yeah, have a Parmo with a side of chips. You can have a salad if you want. Garlic sauce. Get your
Oh
garlic
wow.
sauce in there as well.
That
Absolutely.
is a
That bus is going to smell bad if people
Hmm.
follow the
Hmm.
advice on this. I'm not so sure, but I will give it a go. And you were right what you said before. Phil Parkinson will or has or is a Middlesbrough fan from his
Oh, yeah.
Stockton-on-Tees upbringing. Because I
Oh.
found a picture of him, which I completely forgot existed, which is of him being hoisted aloft by some teammates at St Patrick's Roman Catholic Primary School in Stockton, um,
Mm,
where they're just like, you probably can't see it, but they're kind of like holding him aloft.
yeah. Got
And
great taste in football clubs, does Phil Parkinson. Great
Cherubic
taste.
Parky there.
So yeah, imagine that if we lose, Parky traitor, Parky out. That's what it'll be. From a very tiny, tiny, tiny minority. Um, yeah, it should be good, because like you said, I think the last time we played each other was you informed me this was in I think it was 1999
Yeah,
FA
1999. Yeah, you
Cup.
won 2-1.
You were 5 months old. Thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
I was
I
definitely at that
was.
match and not 5 months old. Um,
That was quite a star-studded Borough team as well. It
it
was like
was
Juninho, Gascoigne, Christian Ziege. That's a name from the
Ziege,
past.
Schwarzer, Phil
Yeah.
Stamp.
Mm.
um, I thought Ravanelli was in there,
So
but
did I, but he wasn't, was
yeah,
he?
no,
Yeah, he left. He left 1997, I
Ah,
think.
right, okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, he would have only just missed it by 2 years.
Yeah. Brian
Right.
Dean scored for us.
Brian Dean, yeah,
Um,
but that is a mad thing to have. Like I know Gaza was aging in years at that point, but could still play, and you got Janino, who's ridiculous, ridiculous footballer.
Yeah, if it was the 1999-2000 season, we had Alan Boxic, who many Borough fans say that he was brilliant when he could be arsed. And he's one of those players that, when he was on it, was absolutely just fantastic, class above. But yeah, I missed out on that. All I've seen in my time supporting Middlesbrough is just crap, to be honest. I got my first season ticket in 2008. We got relegated, and then I've seen most seasons of Championship since. I've seen 2 Premier League seasons, and that's it. But
What
hey,
was that?
it's all
What was
part of
that?
the
What
roller
was that?
coaster.
What was that wonderful analogy that I forever attribute to you? Because I was like, this is the person we're going to get on the pod. Because I was laughing and laughing. I was trying to find it today, but
Oh,
please enlighten us.
yeah, I compared us to like a straggler piece of turd on the back of a cat's arse. That like we're still there, like in the top six, but we're shit. And that was it. I got stick for that, People were like,
Did you?
"Get her," yeah, because I do a bit of radio after the game on BBC Tees, and they were like, "She shouldn't be on BBC Tees if she says that about the borough." It's really funny,
oh,
but yeah,
God.
I think it was the perfect way of summarising us last season. It just,
It was
yeah,
class. It's a
we
good
we were
analogy.
very much a part of the top six narrative, but we were shit.
There you go. There you go. You- that analogy ain't gonna be used this season if early indications are anything to go by for you. So
Oh no, no, it won't be. Thankfully, no more cat turds on the Boro Breakdown podcast.
no, no. Anyway, tell us a little bit before we get to predictions. Tell us a little bit about um, is this still known as a Riverside? I suppose it is the Riverside, isn't it? Or
It
what's
is, yeah.
yeah? I mean, I feel like it's been there forever now, but we've never been to it naturally because our previous visits would have been Ayerson Park, I think, back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, probably, yeah.
Um, so what should we expect? Are we expecting I imagine a sizable crowd? People are starting to believe that special things are happening there again. Unbeaten home record, apart from Carabao Cup disaster against Doncaster, which we spoke about earlier. Um, yeah, is it 1-4 drawn one? I think in your five
I think,
league games.
yeah, I think it is, yeah. I've
Yeah,
lost track.
but you've only lost one game in the league all season, I think.
Yeah, against Portsmouth at Fratton
Yes.
Park, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, what can we expect in terms of our visit to the ground? Is it going to be rowdy? Is it going to be noisy? Is it going to be semi-welcoming? Is it going to be like Galatasaray and you're going to chase us off and on the buses?
No, it won't be that. It will be very passionate, and I think it'll be a decent crowd. The crowds have been decent actually this season, given that there was a big conversation around like early bird season ticket prices and them being just ridiculously expensive. I think they went up in the summer, but football results speak volumes, and the
Mm.
fact that we are unbeaten at home has just, yeah, the feel good factor's back at the Riverside. We didn't have that last season. We were so charitable, home and away, but particularly at home. We gifted teams points and we weren't really that great. I don't think we were awful at the Riverside, but we want to be better. We want to make the Riverside a fortress. I think you can expect a raucous South Stand. That's the closest stand to where you guys will be. That's where our noisy group are, called Red Faction. So you'll expect some flags being waved and lots of chants. Do expect if we score, the Boro fans will chant, "Who are you?" I don't know where this has come from. I hate it. We used to sing EIO every time we scored. And we've stopped that now for some reason, to just point at the away fans and chant, "Who are you?" So I wish that just stopped. I do wonder if we're going to do it against you guys. We probably will. We've done it against every team. We could probably do it against Barrow. If Barrow come to the Riverside and we score against them, make it 6-0 or something, we'll probably score. We'll probably say that. But yeah, expect a raucous South Stand. And I'll be in the East Stand actually next to you guys, so I might give you a wave. But other than that, yeah, I think it'll be pretty welcoming. There's a fan zone outside of the Ayresome Park gates that you can mingle with the Borough fans. I'm sure that they will be welcoming. This is as I said, the first meeting between the two sides since 1999. So if you do want to kind of mingle in that lot, feel free to do that. That is, yeah, as I said, near the Ayresome Park gates. And yeah, other than that, I think it'll be a pretty decent atmosphere. Borough fans will be right up for it, and yeah, hopefully Wrexham fans are too.
Right, shall we dive into predictions, Liam? Are we at that stage?
Yes, it's that time of the day. Let's ask our guest first. Score prediction for Saturday. What are you thinking?
I think I said 1-0 on my show, didn't I, Tim?
You did.
Tight game.
did.
You was fully like 5-0 or something like that. He was
Wasn't
going
quite
for the
like
complete
that.
opposite.
I did say there was going to be 5 goals.
Yeah,
I'll have to
I
stay with
wish. I wish it's 5-0, but I don't think it will be. Yeah, as I said, we haven't quite found that click up front yet. I'm probably just going to go with a low margin game, so 1-0, 1-0 Borough.
Go on,
Tim,
Liam.
what are you going for?
I said initially, I said a 3-2 defeat. Are we
Ooh.
allowed to have varying scores on different pods? I'm thinking,
Yeah,
fuck
go
it,
for it.
yeah, because we're the ones giving up our time to do these things, so why not?
Yeah.
I am gonna go. I'm gonna drag that back from a 3-2 defeat to a 2-all draw,
Oh,
powered by the Parmo. That's what's going to happen. We're going to get that down us. We're going to be burping garlic sauce on one another. It's going to feel like a proper lads holiday, and I'll go for a two each, with us grabbing a late share of the spoils. So I haven't deviated too much away from my
No, you
prediction.
haven't. No.
Complete different change of result, but only
yeah,
one goal.
just the change of points result.
Yeah, never mind.
If you'd asked me if we'd lost against Oxford, I think I'd have been clutching at straws trying to find a way I could engineer a draw or a win for Wrexham. But I'm quite chilled now, so it's not that I'd accept a defeat, but I am probably expecting one. The only thing I'm trying to decide is, are we going to keep up our record of scoring in every match or not? Yeah.
Well, we didn't at Stoke.
Oh, well, yeah, well done, me. Great. That is the kind of cutting edge analysis you can expect on this podcast. It's already gone, so it's fine. It doesn't matter. No, I'm gonna go for 2-1 to Middlesbrough.
Oh, dear me.
I'd take that.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, it's gonna either way. And again, you get excited about these away games regardless, because it sounds a little bit exclusive, but you do get the old heads going who, for whatever, they just go, they'll go everywhere. The diehards will go everywhere. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter the day, where it is, play on the other side of the world, they'll be there. So I think there's an element of that to it, which makes the away games a little bit special. Everybody gives it some proper welly. So I think it will be a banging atmosphere. And as long as we don't get a solid walloping, who was it that happened to? So somebody walloped somebody 7-0 won it a few weeks ago. Was it QPR?
Is it Cov? Yeah, Cov beat QPR.
That was it.
7-0,
Yeah.
I think.
That was it. Unless something like that was to happen, which would probably absolutely take the wind out of your sails and leave you deflated going back home. But like as I said, I feel that we're in a good place at the moment, in terms of defensive structure and everything else. So should be good. Should be good. I'm happy now because I'm more excited about the delicacies, the Middlesbrough delicacy than I know. I know what I'll do now. I'll doom scroll. I'll have a deep dive on Wikipedia into how this delicacy came about, where it came from, why it was made, how it was made.
You're
And
gonna have to
yeah,
report back up for us after Saturday.
well, yeah, I'm hoping I can get one. You said that there's one at the ground in some sort of bun, but
Mm.
we're sort of stopping on the
Ooh,
outskirts for a bit. Maybe this pub will do it. You'd like to
wow.
think so. If it's that much of a big deal, it's going to be done everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, so we've got an
Yeah, it should be.
exciting prospect of our journey to Middlesbrough with Parmo on the menu. Wrexham up to 15th. Heady Heights. We're back to being the best team in Wales again, just one above Swansea. So we've
On goal difference. On goal
oh
difference.
lovely. I mean, I just love that that's so close as well. Oh,
No,
makes it even better.
not even outright. That's how much of a pain in the ass we are. But yeah, technically the premium team in Wales after I think it's like 26 years or something stupid.
Yeah, and so with these exciting thoughts, it's going to be a good one, isn't it?
Well, I hope so, but I don't want to get too carried away because we can see all this stuff about being the best team in Wales, and we go and lose against Cardiff next week, and we get put
Oh,
back in
don't
that
do that.
box.
I'm on a high. Don't do that.
Honestly, like, yeah, no, I don't want to think about that. That's
I'm
horrible.
gonna cut you off before you doom scroll into us losing to Cardiff.
No, I'm doom scrolling the Palmo tonight. That's it. That's going to be it. Clearly got a quiet Thursday night on the horizon. So I
On
need
that
box set recommendations ASAP, to be honest. But there we go.
on
But
that
Dana,
culinary delight, I think all that's left to do really is there's no other businesses there, Tim.
no, I'm sure we've missed something, but say la vie. It is what it
Slag us
is.
off in the comments if we missed anything.
Please do like, subscribe, slag off, do all that. Yeah, plenty of that this week. Dana, thank you very much for joining us. As always,
Thank you.
pleasure. And yeah, thanks to everybody for listening. And go and check out the Boro Breakdown pod for all your cat poo analogies, amongst a lot of other very well-meaning, thought-out, meticulous commentary and such like. But yeah, until then, thank you very much. Take care.
Cheers. Oh, Christ, how do I put it?
Hit that dead air moment, Liam.